So only 23 people. Let me wait for 2-3 minutes. So can we start?
Yes, sir.
So did we start derivative market?
We discussed about difference between forward and future, sir. Like you asked us to remind about the main differences.
Okay, so basically, what is derivative that I have told you, I believe? That is, today is 03, 02, 2022. So derivatives are basically the value of which is derived from another underlying asset. This I think I've told you. So what do you mean by, once again, what do you mean by derivative? The value of which is derived from another underlying asset. See, for example, forward is a derivative contract. So how do you arrive at the forward price? We arrive at the forward price from the spot price. If you remember, spot price into 1 plus DIR upon 1 plus FIR, we arrive at the forward price. So, because otherwise, how do you calculate the price of after 1 month or after 1 year, etc., etc.? So here your spot price is the underlying asset and forward price is the derivative. Okay. So whenever we talk about derivative, normally we have 4 products in our mind: forward, futures, options, and swap. These are the 4 products which we'll be discussing here. So today I'll be discussing mainly futures and options and maybe little bit of forward. Swap, we have a different chapter, so we'll discuss it there. And apart from this, there are many other derivative products. 2 popular products, I don't know whether I've told you or not, called securitization and credit default swap. They are the 2 products which people say are responsible for the, or these are the 2 innovations in finance which are responsible for the financial crisis of 2007 and 8. Rather, these are the, but you cannot say that, you cannot say that these products are actually responsible directly. Why? There is another definition of derivative, informal definition of a derivative given by one professor in London Stock Exchange. She says derivatives are like razors with which you can shave and look beautiful, with which you can also commit suicide. So these products are introduced for the benefit of the investors as well as issuer. But if you misuse them, naturally there is a problem. Similarly, Warren Buffett, the billionaire investors, he says derivatives are financial weapons for mass distractions in the hands of few derivatives dealers. So you and me, we are not involved in the financial crisis of 2007 and 8. There was some derivative dealers who misused them, and naturally there was a crisis. And you must have seen during the two cases which you have done, Asian financial crisis especially, that when the speculators attack, they will keep on attacking, so they will not see what is happening to the currency or to the country. So how you use it is very important. So coming back to the forward contract and differences between forward contract and future contract, let me tell you once again what is a forward contract. The contract is made today, the delivery of goods and payment for goods that takes place on a future date. Say for example, today you want to buy, you enter into a contract. Today is 3rd of February. You enter into a contract to buy $1. So at a price of say 75 rupees per dollar after 1 month. So after 1 month, irrespective of the price of the dollar, you will deliver 75 rupees and you will get $1. Okay. So a future contract is almost like a forward contract, but there are a lot of differences between forward and future. First of all, first difference is forward is a bilateral contract. We call it as OTC contract, over-the-counter contract. Over-the-counter contract is between two parties, buyer and seller. Future is a trilateral contract or an exchange-traded contract. So what role does exchange play? Exchange gives counterparty guarantee to both buyer and seller. So basically it is a clearinghouse on behalf of exchange which gives counterparty guarantee to both buyer and seller. Okay. So when you are trading in an exchange, you are actually buying from the clearinghouse. Similarly, when you are selling through an exchange, you are actually selling to the clearinghouse. It is not necessary that the buyer and seller will know each other, but in a forward contract, buyer and seller will know each other. So major difference, number one, in a forward contract, it is a bilateral contract or it is an OTC contract. In a future contract, it is a trilateral contract or an exchange-traded contract. And as I have told you, that is exchange gives counterparty guarantee to both buyer and seller. How? That I'll show you later. So forward contract is, there is a counterparty risk. Anybody can run away. So suppose you enter into a contract to buy $1 after 1 month at a price of 75. After 1 month, the price of the dollar is 77. The buyer, he thinks that if I buy from the market, I'll have to pay 77. If I buy from this man, I'll have to pay 75. So buyer is happy. What about seller? Seller thinks that if I sell it to him, I'll have to sell it for 75, but if I sell it in the market, I'll get 77. So seller runs away. And the reverse is true for the buyer. If the price falls, buyer can run away. But in a future contract, that is not possible. Why that is not possible? Because buyer and seller, both of them, buyer is buying from the exchange and seller is selling to the exchange. And you will see that how the clearinghouse secures the contract. So in a future contract, there is no counterparty risk, or counterparty risk is very, very minimum or almost zero. So two I have already discussed. One is bilateral, trilateral, and what are the other two? It is an exchange-traded contract. There is no counterparty risk in case of a future contract, or very low minimum counterparty risk. And in case of a forward contract, there are counterparty risks. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Third point, I think these two we have discussed.
Yes, sir, we have.
Yeah. Third point is forward is a customized contract, future is a standardized contract. So what do you mean by customized and standardized? So in case of a forward, so customized, standardized in as far as quantity is concerned, as far as quality is concerned, as far as time is concerned, and as far as price change is concerned. So 4 ways it is standardized. So first come with the quantity. So you can trade forward contract for any amount. Suppose you want to buy $25,373. So you go to a bank, you enter into a, you ask the bank that you want to buy $25,373. Bank will do that. Future contract, you cannot do that. There is a fixed quantity. Suppose you one contract is of $25,000. So you can buy $25,000, then $50,000, then $75,000, and so on. So you have to buy one contract or two contract or three contract. Each contract is of a size, which is decided by the exchange. Okay, and it varies. Whatever is the size for dollar, that is not the size for pound. May not be the size for pound or yen. So that is there. So future quantity is standardized. Then quality is also standardized. Now, dollar is always a dollar. Dollar doesn't have any quality, variations in quality. But if it is a commodity, like future contract is not only available on financial product, it is also available on commodity. So, sir, for example, gold. So you can trade any categories of gold. Suppose you can any category means 18 karat, 22 karat, 24 karat. There are different varieties of gold. But future contract you can trade only 24 karat gold with 0.999 degree of fineness. So that is specified by the exchange. Okay. So as of now, you can trade only 24 karat gold with 0.999 degree of fineness. So whatever commodities are traded in the future contract, it has a particular standard and specification is mentioned by the exchange. So quantity is standardized, quality is standardized. Then time. Today, if you enter into a future contract for 1 month, so you can enter into a 1 month or 30 days. If it is 30 days, 30 days will be counted from today. So February will be considered as 28 days. But if you consider 1 month, February will be considered as 1 month. So 1 month will be counted from today. So 3rd of February is the date today. 1 month will be 3rd of March, 2 days of grace days as we discussed earlier. So it comes to 5th of March. If that is a holiday, it will be shifted. So 5th of March will be the expiry date. But future contract, the expiry dates are fixed by the exchanges. So in India, it is last Thursday of the month. So we normally don't call it, but for our simplicity, we call it 1 month, 2 month, 3 month. Actually, it is now it is February contract, March contract, and April contract. February contract, which we call, for simplicity, we call 1 month. It will expire on the last Thursday of February. March contract, which we call 2 months, it will expire on the last Thursday of March. Similarly, April contract, which we call 3 months, will expire on the last Thursday of April. Now we have contracts of longer maturity also and shorter maturity also. Shorter maturity means weekly contracts, not mainly in the currencies, but in the stocks. Anyway, so these dates when it will expire, that is fixed by the exchange. So, but forward, it is customized. Okay, and another is price change. That is, suppose future, future prices keeps on changing. Suppose it is mentioned that price change will be by 20 paisa. So if you have, suppose current market price is, 75.40. So next price can be 75.60 or maybe 75.20. So because price change can be by 20 paisa on either side. So, but forward price, it can be, you can enter into a contract at 75.43. So that is not the case in a future market. So what all things are standardized? One is quantity, one is quality, one is time to expiry, and the other is price change. These are all standardized. Any question? Right. So future contract, suppose consider this case. Mr. A buys 1000. Let me take your example as euro.
Sir, are you sharing any screen?
Sir, are you sharing screen?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, can you? What
Yes.
file?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
So Mr. A buys 1000 euro from Mr. B in 1 month market at a price of rupees 92 per. Okay, initial margin. So first of all, what is initial margin? As soon as you enter into a future contract, you have to pay a margin money. Margin money is deposit. Okay, so for security. Why for security? I told you in a future contract, your exchange is giving, or clearinghouse on behalf of exchange is giving counterparty guarantee to both buyer and seller. So in a forward contract, buyer and seller can run away. In a future contract, you cannot. Why? How exchange is making it sure that you cannot run away? Exchange is saying if you want to trade, whether you are a buyer or a seller, because either way, whether you are a buyer or whether you are a seller, you can lose money. Okay. Why you can lose money? If you are a buyer, if the price goes up, you make money. If the price goes down, you lose money. Similarly, if you are a seller, it is opposite. If the price goes up, you lose money. If the price goes down, you make money. Okay. So exchange says you have to pay margin money. So initial margin, what will be the initial margin? That will be decided by the exchange. And of course, time to time it varies. So suppose this is your closing price. Closing price. This is buyer. This is seller. So initial margin, what is the total value? 92,000. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Initial margin is 10% of 92,000. So buyer pays 9,200. Seller pays 9,200 with the exchange. Actually, exchange does not know you if you are a buyer or a seller. Exchange knows your broker. So exchange will collect this initial margin money from your broker on a net basis. Okay. Anyway, some cases, net basis. So both buyer and seller, you are required to pay margin money. So any question up to this point?
No, sir.
At the end of today, contract you have entered into at 12:21 p.m. on 3rd of February 2022. So on 3rd of February 2022, when the market closes, so at the end of day 0, okay? Suppose your price is euro or euro 1 equal to rupees 92.5. Possible? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
So who gains?
Buyer.
How much?
Buy the contract, sir.
So buyer has the right to buy at, buyer bought at 92. Now if he sells at 92.5, he makes a profit of 500. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
So his account will be credited by 500 and seller loses. His account will be debited by 500. So suppose next day, day 2, day 1, huh? Suppose goes to 92.8. Who gains?
Buyer.
How much?
300 extra.
From this price, because till this price profit is recorded. From this price he gains by how much? 300.
Yes, sir.
Seller loses 300. Zero sum game, whatever. Next day the price goes to 93.4. So how much you gain?
600.
93.4 minus 92.8. Minus 92.8. So 6 into 100, 600. Okay. So he gains by 600. He loses by. Next day price from 93.4, it falls to 93.9. Who gains?
Seller.
How much?
500.
So buyer loses 500. Seller gains 500. Make sense?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So what are we doing? Every day's closing price is adjusted with previous day's closing price. I repeat, every day's closing price is adjusted with previous day's closing price, and profit or loss is either credited to or debited to the buyer and seller's account. I repeat, every day's closing price is adjusted with previous day's closing price, and profit or loss is either credited to or debited to the buyers and sellers account. Make sense? This process is called mark to market or marking to market. Okay, this process is called mark to market or marking to market. So first of all, why you pay a margin money? It is a security because exchange is giving you counterparty guarantee. Like buyer is buying from the exchange. So what is the guarantee that the buyer will not run away? So that is why he has to keep the deposit money. Similarly, seller is selling to the exchange. What is the guarantee that the seller will not run away? So he is keeping that exchange. So then every day's profit or loss is either credited to his account or debited to her account. Okay. So this process is called mark to market or marking to market. Like initial margin is the margin money which you pay at the beginning as soon as you enter into the contract. There is something called minimum margin or maintenance margin. That will also be fixed by the exchange. Now initial margin, whether it is 10% or 15% or whatever it is, it depends upon the volatility, and the exchange will decide it. So it depends upon the volatility and other things. So what happens is, and similarly, the minimum margin or maintenance margin is also decided by the exchange, and it also varies. Suppose the minimum margin is decided by the exchange as say 5,000, whatever it is. It may be a percentage wise. Suppose it is in this case it is 5,000, or say maybe 5% or whatever it is. So suppose the minimum margin is 5,000. So as soon as the balance in the margin account, so how do you find out the balance? This minus this is the balance, minus this is this balance, minus this is this balance, plus this is this balance, and for him plus this minus this. So you can find out the balance in the margin account. So on any day, if the balance in the margin account falls below the minimum margin, as long as it is, if the minimum margin is decided at 5,000, as long as the margin is up to 5,000, there is no problem. But as soon as it falls below the minimum margin or maintenance margin, say 4,999, immediately there is a margin call. How much is the margin call? Margin call will be such that it is equal to the initial margin. Margin call will be such that it is equal to the initial margin. I repeat, instead of 4,999, suppose it is 4,500. So how much it has to pay? It has to pay an amount which will make it again equal to 9,200. So when there will be a margin call, whatever is the balance of the margin, that will be deducted from the initial margin in order to find out how much money you have to, buyer or seller, whoever it is, will have to bring in. So why there is a margin call? In order to make sure, suppose you bring the initial deposit and then you are either the buyer or the seller is losing money and the entire margin money, initial margin, what is bought is depleted. So seller can still run away. So in order to protect that, the buyer, whenever your balance in the margin money falls below the initial margin or minimum margin, there is a margin call. Okay. Any question?
Sir, like in this case, minimum initial margin is 9,200. So can we assume the minimum margin to be around 5,000?
No, see, instead of $1,000, if it is $10,000, so naturally both will change. So minimum margin also is calculated as a percentage, like initial margin is calculated. If you trade more, if your value of trading is more, so naturally your margin will also go up. Suppose you buy $1 lakh, initial margin will not be 9,200. Okay, so it will be calculated 92 lakhs, 10% of 92 lakhs. Okay, so if it is 5% and initial minimum margin will not be 5,000. So if it is normally, it is also calculated as a percentage. Okay.
Yes, sir. For this case, like if at all the balance falls below 5,000, then we need to add the rest, like 4,200 to make it 9,200, right? Yes, sir.
Got it?
Yes, sir.
Sir, I have one doubt. Like initial margin is 10%. So how much can be the minimum margin? Like is there any kind
first of all, what will be initial margin and what will be minimum margin? That depends upon the asset. See, it is very much possible one stock goes up or goes down by 10%. But it is not possible, very rare that index will go up or go down by 10%. And currency, though, it is very difficult. See, today $1 is equal to 75. If it goes up or goes down by 10%, when it goes up by 10% means 75 minus 7.5. Impossible. So whatever is initial margin for currency, that will not be the initial margin for stocks. So that way it is decided. So it is decided by the exchange. Exchange has a committee. They decide what will be the initial margin and what will be the minimum margin. Suppose there is a margin decided and stock exchange expects that, see, you need to consider that if it goes up, somebody will make profit, somebody will suffer a loss. Similarly, if it goes down, somebody will make profit, somebody will suffer a loss. So both the side you have to see. Now, suppose you find excess volatility during a particular point of time. So from 10%, exchange can make it 15%, depending upon the situation. Because on any particular day, there are stocks which go up or go down by more than 10%. So there is a circuit breaker on the overall market. If the index moves on either side by more than 10%, so market will freeze. But for individual stocks, earlier there were, for individual stocks there are, and still probably there are, but it is very high. But it is possible that many stocks may go up or go down by more than 10% on a particular day. Got it?
Okay, sir. Okay.
So individual stock, it can be more. For index, it can be, because you can also trade on index. You have future contract on indices. Make sense?
So circuit limit is 20%, right? For stocks.
Stock size it is 20%. I think it is 20%. It may also
20%.
Index is 10. So what all we have discussed? We have discussed initial margin, we have discussed mark to market, we have discussed minimum margin or maintenance margin, we have discussed margin call. These are all related to future contract. Forward contract, you don't have anything like this. However, when you go to a bank and try to enter into a forward contract, bank will definitely say you deposit some money. Otherwise, bank will not enter into a forward contract with you. Why? Bank will say what will happen if you run away, but you cannot ask this question to bank. Okay. So that's the thing. Is that fine?
Sir, I want to ask one question.
Sure.
Sir, whenever we do trading, we have an option to sell it out on the day if we are facing any kind of losses. But in the case of 1 month future options, we need to wait for end of the contract.
That is, my next point would have been that. So
sir,
you have already asked the question. Now forward contract, if you want to close the contract, there is no ready-made market. Future contract, right now we enter into the contract, next moment you can close the contract. But what are you doing? I told you, when you are buying from the exchange or you are buying from the clearing house, and when you are selling to the clearing house. So a lot of people are buying and selling, doing that at a particular point of time. So since you have a market, so anytime you can enter and anytime you can exit. So suppose right now you want to buy an foreign exchange market or future contract in foreign exchange market, you and me, we can also trade. But forward market, you and me, we cannot trade. Anyway, suppose you buy in the forward market, and if you want to close your position, that means you want to come out of the market. So you have to convince the other party. Okay, there will be a valuation on the basis of that. Yeah. If he does not agree, you cannot close with him. So you have to find somebody else whom you can sell the contract. But in a future contract, you don't have this problem. Anytime you can enter, anytime you can exit. So future contract is more liquid than the forward contract. You don't have to wait till the maturity.
Sir, I just want to understand, if I am in 1 month agreement, then
today you buy a 1 month contract at 12:34, at 12:35 you can come out of that, or maybe tomorrow, if you want, tomorrow you can come out of that.
Okay, sir.
Okay, forward contract, actually currency is concerned, forward contract, it is settled by delivery. That is, if you buy a 1 month forward contract, after 1 month you will pay the seller cash, and you take the delivery of the say euro or dollar, whatever it is. But in case of a future contract, it is settled in cash. So basically what happens in this case, the one which you have done. So suppose this is the maturity date. Okay, maturity date. So how much is the loss of the seller? 500, 300, 600. So 900 is the loss of the seller. So he will be, actually he should give 900, but he already has a deposit of 9,200. So 9,200 minus 900, the remaining amount will be returned to the seller. Similarly, buyer gets how much? He makes a profit of 900 and he already had 9,200 as security money. So 9,200 plus 900, that is 10,100 will be given to the buyer. So it is settled in cash. So here there is no question of delivery. But forward contract, ultimately it ends with delivery. Okay, so that is another difference. Any question?
Sir, I have one question.
Sure.
So suppose we enter into a 3-month contract, and at the start of the first month, so the initial margin is say 10%, but at the start of the second month, say suppose it becomes 12%. So will that have any effect on the?
So you have to bring the extra margin money.
Okay, sir.
See, actually it is your broker who keeps the margin money. Your broker is supposed to take the margin money from you. Okay, and stock exchange will, as soon as the balance falls below the minimum margin, stock exchange will not ask for margin money. So all the brokers, they have one account called clearing and settlement account, which is maintained with the designated branches of the stock exchanges operated by the stock exchange. So stock exchange will debit that account and transfer the money to their account. They will not ask you also. So suppose you don't have money, sufficient balance in that clearing and settlement account, immediately stock exchange will call you to find out, call you and ask you to, send money. If you fail to do that, your position will be liquidated and your terminal will be switched off. So suppose at this moment there is a margin call. The seller fails to pay the margin money. So seller's position will be liquidated. How? Seller has sold, so to liquidate his position, he has to buy. So that will be done. So he has to buy means somebody is again selling. He will come in his position, and he will be, this seller will be returned the balance minus if there is any penalty. Okay, and here there is no question that anybody will run away. Why? Because you have the money. If you run away, this money will be confiscated. Makes sense?
Sir, so
Yes.
basically in a 3-month contract, when we enter the contract in the first month, the initial margin is 10%, and while we are in the contract, if the margin percentage changes to 12, we need to deposit more 200,
Right.
or the extra 2% money.
Yeah. And that is possible. Okay.
Sir, any specific reason why the margin will increase in the middle of the contract?
So suppose the volatility goes up. So basically why the margin money is kept at 10% on the assumption the market will see. One thing you have realized that if the market moves on either side by more than 10% or less than 10%, when market moves on either side by 10%, more than 10%, then this entire margin money of somebody will be depleted. Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah.
So before the stock exchange goes for a margin call, so naturally what will happen? The seller or buyer can run away because his entire deposit is gone. So why should he stay? Make sense?
Yes, sir. Got it.
So if there is a possibility that it can go up or go down by 10%, then the stock exchange will increase the margin money from 10 to maybe 15%. Okay? Huh?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Sir, but then this increase in margin percentage, sir, will be very rare, right? In like very rare cases.
Yeah, rare cases.
Okay, sir.
So let me see what all we have done. Let me just take you to the future contract. So how do you do that? NSE. So once you go to the NSE, once you open, click on market data. Once you click on market data, derivative market. So click on derivative market, you get equity derivative, currency, commodity, interest rate. So ours is currency derivative. Click on currency derivative, you will get contracts. So we have in Indian market, we have currency derivative available on 4 currencies: US dollar, GBP, Japanese yen, and euro. Definitely there is some euro contract. Yeah, euro. Okay. So normally we have 3 contracts, as I have told you. One is February, one is March, one is April. So February contract will expire on 24th of February or last Thursday of February. March will expire on the last Thursday of March. Similarly, April will expire on the last Thursday of April. However, there are shorter date contracts. See, for example, this is the 4th February contract. Now here you don't have anything because these are mainly available for the this thing. What do you call shorter? Very rare, but Mainly it is available for the stocks, for shorter maturities. So this is the 4th February contract. Anyway, let me just show you on 24th February contract. So this is, we are doing on euro, no? Acha, chalo, US dollar, let me show. So if you just make it more, first let me explain you this. So this is the contract which is expiring on 24th of February on US dollar INR. So first, this is the today's opening future price. Today's opening future price. This is today's high. This is till now. This is today's low till now. This is yesterday's closing price. This is the last traded price. Okay? This is the last traded price. So, and these are all different trades. So 605 means not $605, 605 quantity. So each quantity of is, I think, I don't remember how much dollar, that we can find out, of course. So these are different bid and ask. So if you want to buy, you have to pay 74.9850 for 605 quantity. So if you sell, you will get 74,000. You will get 74.9800. Okay. But since it is an exchange traded contract, you have to, along with that, you have to pay brokerage also. Okay. So this is the number of trades till now. This is the traded volume, today's transaction. Traded value, this volume multiplied by, different contracts are at different prices, multiplied by that, those prices will get this value. This is volume weighted average price. So this is the weighted average price. This total trade value divided by volume. Open interest is number of contract outstanding at any point of time. Okay. Change in open interest percentage, and these are all certain indicators. That is why they are calculated. So actually, we don't need so much in international finance. Just to tell you. So in India, when we started foreign exchange market, I said that all currencies except INR are foreign currencies. So we have futures and options. Option will start on 4 major currencies I have told you. However, we have cross currency rates. Okay. So how do you get cross currency rates? So this is your cross currency. Before I go to cross currency, these are all reference rate. $1 US is equal to how much Indian rupee, 1 GBP, how much Indian rupee, and so on. These are all published by RBI. Rather, there is an institute called FBIL. Forgot the full form. So FBIL publishes the data on behalf of RBI. So these are all reference. For all practical purposes, we use this rate. Okay. For calculation. So we have cross currency also, like it's not INR, US dollar, euro, GBP, US dollar. Not very popular in India, but that is also available. So suppose you will be receiving US dollar, you have to buy euro. So you can directly trade here. Question?
Sir, what is strike price? The price at which deal happens?
Option, we have not yet started.
Okay.
Strike price will do.
Sir, those prices which has been mentioned in the website, those are spot price, right, sir?
Oh, sorry. So suppose this one.
Yes, sir.
This is the future price at which the first contract took place today. This is the future price of today, highest price as things stand now. This is the lowest price. These are all future prices. If you talk about spot price, 1 month, so you can consider this as spot price.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That I was talking about. The references rate are spot prices, right?
Spot price. Yeah.
Sir, so the quantity, sir, is determined by the person who's offering the contract, right? Or is it determined by the market?
Right. You can also offer. Suppose you say that you want to buy, say, 50 quantity at a price of 74.98. Possible? Okay. So if somebody is ready to accept this price, there will be a trade.
Okay, so it's not
trade. Here, this person wants to sell at a price. Somebody wants to buy. That is, if you sell, somebody wants to buy at 74.98, and somebody wants to sell at 74.99. So as soon as these two will match, so there will be a trade. Okay.
Okay, sir. So it's not necessary that the says, suppose I want to only buy 50. So it's not necessary. I have to go for the whatever is mentioned, right?
See, now you want to buy. So somebody is ready to sell at 74.99. So suppose you want to buy at 74. You want to buy at 74.99, 50 quantity. Okay. So this out of this 50 will go. Remaining will appear. So when you are putting these are the orders, they are given in the system. So once you give the order in the system, so naturally the trade can take place automatically. Okay.
Okay, sir.
There are of course different kinds of trade. Make sense? Fine.
Yes, sir.
So let me just see what all we have done. So this is a little bit of background. First transaction took place in Chicago Mercantile Exchange. It is one of the largest and oldest exchange. Anything under the sun, Alpine to Elephant are traded there. Huh? Everything. So in fact, as I've told you, knowingly or unknowingly, we also, trade in derivative. This mango example which I've given. Suppose I have a mango garden. A farmer has a mango garden, and farmer at the beginning he sells the entire produce to somebody. Now, if there are a huge amount of mango production, this extra profit will go to that person who is buyer. And if their mango does not grow at all, if there are some other reasons, so the loss will be suffered by him. So the farmer does not know it is a forward contract, but he is entering into a forward contract. Okay. In future there is a market, so naturally you have to make the contract through a market. Okay. Make sense?
Yes, sir.
So more or less, so these are the things which are available in US market: British pound, Canadian dollar, euro, Swiss franc, Japanese yen, Mexican peso, Australian dollar. So these are the currencies which are future contract on these currencies are available in US market. In our market, you have seen already there are 4. Transaction cost in future contracts are naturally high because they are more liquid. more liquid, as I've told you, that is at any point of time you can enter the market, any point of time you can leave the market. And why they are more, why transaction costs are high? You have to enter the market through a broker. Leverage is high because if you want to buy $1,000 at a price of 75, otherwise you have to pay 75,000 rupees. Or if you want to buy, at 91, if you want to buy euro, you have to pay 91,000 or 92,000, whatever is that, rupees to buy euro. But whereas by paying 10%, you get the benefit of 1,000 euro. Okay. So maximum, we have already talked about this circuit breaker and all. Maintenance margin we have talked about. These are all some exchanges, future exchanges. Differences, I have told you that between forward and future, I have told you the trading locations. That is, one is an OTC, one is an exchange traded. Regulation, forward is regulated by RBI, future is regulated by SEBI. Now question is, that is for the stock exchange, some foreign exchange. For commodities there is something, forget about that. Frequency of delivery standardized and customized, I have told you. Size of contract standardized, customized, I have told you. Transaction cost, brokerage, no brokerage, I have told you. Quotes, price changes, I have told you. Margin money, I have told you. Credit risk, counterparty credit risk can exist in case of forward. It does not exist in case of future. So these are all differences between forward and future. What are the advantages and disadvantages of future? First of all, easy liquidity. You have a ready-made market. Anytime you can enter and anytime you can exist. Well organized and stable market, naturally. Limited to, what are the only 4 currencies in Indian case, limited dates of delivery, and of course rigid contract size. Your contract size is also fixed. So these are some of the differences, and of course it is costlier than the forward market. For currency, forward is more popular than future. Okay, and advantage is here anybody can participate. Forward market, US and developed market, anybody can participate in the forward market also, but here in future market, in India also, anybody can participate. You and me, we can also buy and sell in the forward market, but it will be settled in cash. Question, confusion?
No, sir.
Options.
Sir, I have just one doubt, sir.
Sure.
So if we go for equity future, sir, the same rules will apply, right?
Equity future, same
same
process. A process is same. But equity future in India is delivery based. Okay, so if you don't square up your position within the expiry date, you have to take the delivery or give the delivery. Similarly, commodity futures are also delivery based. So within a particular date, you have to inform. 4 days before the maturity, you have to inform whether you want the delivery or you don't want the delivery. So accordingly, you will get the delivery or you have to give the delivery. But foreign exchange, it is absolutely cash settled. Okay?
Yeah, thank you, sir.
This is the difference. So option. So first, call option. Buyer, also called holder, seller, also called writer. So take an example. First, let me define. Buyer of a call option has the right to buy, but does not have does not have the obligation to buy. Seller or writer, I'll explain, huh? Seller of a call option has the obligation to sell, but does not have the what do you mean by this? Acha. Another one, buyer is a premium called option price to the seller. So what do you mean by this? So buyer of a call option has the right to buy but does not have the obligation to buy. Buyer of a call option has the right to buy but doesn't have the obligation to buy. Seller of a call option has the obligation to sell but doesn't have the right to sell. Buyer pays a premium to the seller. Okay? Any question, confusion up to this point? Let me explain. Let me explain. Suppose Mr. A buys a call option on euro at for 1 month at a price of euro 1 equal to rupees 88. Okay. So Mr. A buys a call option on euro for 1 month at a price of euro. So after 1 month, there are 3 possibilities. So euro 1 is equal to rupees 88. Euro 1 is more than rupees 88. Euro 1 is less than rupees 88. Okay. So if euro 1 is equal to rupees 88, so Mr. A has the, what is the definition? Buyer of a call option has the right to buy but does not have the obligation to buy. Repeat, buyer of a call option has the right to buy but does not have the obligation to buy. Okay. So if the price of 1 euro after 1 month is 88, whether Mr. A buys 1 euro from Mr. B or buys it from the market, both the places he has to pay 88 rupees. I repeat, Mr. A buys a call option from Mr. B on euro at a price of euro 1 is equal to rupees 88 after 1 month. So Mr. A can buy if he has a right, not the obligation. Okay, so if the price after 1 month is 88, if he buys from Mr. B, he has to pay 88 rupees. If he buys from the market, there also he pays 88 rupees. So his decision is immaterial, whether he exercises his right and buys from Mr. B or he buys from the market. Both the places he pays 88. So it is immaterial. Second case, if the price of €1 is more than ₹88, if he exercises his right, say $89. Okay. Say ₹89. So if he buys from Mr. B, if he exercises his right and buys from Mr. B, he can buy €1 by paying 88 rupees. However, if he tries to buy from the market, he has to pay 89 rupees. So what should he do?
Buy from market,
Mr. B. Buy from Mr. B. So he will exercise his right and buy it from Mr. B. Okay. On the other hand, if the price is less than 88, say 87, he exercises his right and buys from Mr. B, he will have to pay 88 rupees. On the other hand, if he does not exercise his right, because he has a right but not the obligation. So if he does not exercise his right and buys from the market, he has to pay 87 rupees. What should he do? He has the right, not the obligation. So he will not exercise his right. He will buy it from the market and pay 87 rupees. He will allow the contract to expire and he will buy it from the market and pay 87 rupees. Question is, why should Mr. B allow that? Mr. B is getting for this obligation, Mr. B is receiving option premium or option price. Make sense? I'm sure you still have some doubts. Anybody?
No, sir.
Ankit?
Yes, sir.
Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
So, do you have a mediclaim?
Yes, sir.
So, in a mediclaim, what do? You pay medical insurance premium.
Yes, sir.
Why do you pay medical insurance premium? That is, in case of hospitalization, you have the right to get the reimbursement from the insurance company. Now, insurance company is selling you the premium. Why they will give you the reimbursement? That is why they are receiving the premium. So now, in this case, between Mr. A and Mr. B, they have entered into a contract for 88 rupees. So what Mr. A is thinking that the price of €1 will cross 88 rupees. So that is why he is paying a premium and entering into a contract. Similarly, Mr. B is thinking the price of €1 after 1 month will not cross 88 rupees. That is why he is selling. So similarly, medical insurance company is also assuming that you will not be hospitalized. Okay, so that is why they are selling you the selling you the insurance product. Okay.
Sir, I have a doubt.
FBIL is Financial Benchmark India Private Limited. Yeah, okay, right. Yeah, forgot. Thank you. Yeah, you have a doubt.
Yes, sir. Sir, in all the 3 cases, the buyer has to pay a premium, right?
Buyer always pays a premium to the seller. So premium is a sunk cost. So whether buyer, as soon as you buy an option contract, you have to pay the premium. So as soon as Mr. A buys a call option from Mr. B, he has to pay the premium. So the future decision of Mr. B does not depend upon the option premium that is paid, sunk cost.
Okay, sir. So if $1 is equals to 88, €1 is equals to 88, then also the seller is
see, when you are this price, it is after 1 month. But when Mr. A, suppose you are entering into the contract on 3rd of February, it will expire on 24th of February. Okay. So 24th of February, we will come to know what is the price of €1. But today you have entered into a contract to buy €1 at a price of 88. As soon as you enter into the contract, you have to pay the premium.
Okay, sir. Got it.
Make sense?
Yes, sir.
So the price, as I've told you, the price at which you are entering into the contract is called the strike price or exercise price. Let me tell you, the price at which you are entering into the contract is called the strike price or exercise price. Okay? And the day when the contract will expire is called the exercise date. We sometimes also call strike date. So you have something as spot price, which is the underlying asset. This is the option price, exercise price. Premium and option price, I have already told you. Okay, call option I have told you. Put option I have not, I will tell you. Who is a buyer I have told you. Who is a seller I have told you. Okay. So there are certain other things before I go to the put option. Okay, let me explain you put option first. So put option. So buyer of a put option has the right to sell but does not have the obligation to sell. Buyer of a put option has the right to sell but doesn't have the obligation to sell. Seller of a put option has the obligation to buy but does not have the right to buy. Okay? And buyer pays a premium. Buyer always pays a premium. Buyer pays a premium okay. So let me take the same example. Okay. I write Mr. A buys a put option. Mr. A buys a put option on euro for 1 month at a price of euro 1 is equal to rupees 88. So after 1 month, there are 3 cases. Now in this case, Mr. A, who is the buyer, has the right to sell. So after 1 month, if euro 1 is equal to 88, whether Mr. A sells it to Mr. B or sells it in the market, both the places he get 88 rupees. So it is immaterial. So it is immaterial. If after 1 month, euro 1 is equal to more than 88, say 89, what will Mr. A do? If he exercises his right and sells it to Mr. B, he gets 88. But if he sells it in the market, he gets 89. What should he do? What should he do? I repeat.
Market, sir, in the market, sell in the market.
So he will not exercise his right. He will allow the contract to expire and he will sell it in the market at a price of 89. What about this one? So price of 1 euro is less than 88, that is say 87. So what will Mr. A do? If he exercises his right and sells it to Mr. B, he will get 88 rupees. But if he sells it in the market, he gets 87. So he will definitely exercise his right and sell it to Mr. B and get 88 rupees. Is that clear? Makes sense?
Yes, sir.
Any question, confusion? Same concept, buyer pays a premium to the seller. Buyer. Now, if you have a question, how come buyer has the right to sell? Buyer means buyer of a contract. So buyer of a put option contract, seller of a put option contract. So buyer of a call option contract, seller of a call option contract. So buyer of a put option contract means he has the right to sell. Seller of a put option contract means he has the obligation to buy. Is that fine?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So next is there are certain things. One is you can see that here there is no profit or no loss to the buyer as well as seller. So this is called at the money. An option is when first start with this one. This is a call option. Buyer makes a profit here. Okay, so it's called in the money option for buyer. So when it is in the money option for buyer, it's out of the money option for seller. So in the money option, what is in the money option? Where you may where there is a positive cash flow from the option. So here there is a positive cash flow to the buyer of the option, but there is a negative cash flow to the seller of the option. So it is called in the money for buyer and of course out of the money for seller. This one is less than 88, so it is out of the money for buyer but in the money for seller. And what about this one? No profit, no loss, at the money. So what is in the money? When it gives positive cash flow. What is at the money? When there is no cash flow. And what is out of the money? When there is negative cash flow. So what is in the money for buyer is out of the money for seller. What is out of the money for buyer is in the money for seller. So whenever you are on put option, it is just opposite. Okay. Any question? So similarly, another thing, there are two kinds of option. One is an American option, one is an European option. So American option can be exercised anytime within its expiration date. Suppose today you enter into a contract for February option, that is which will expire on 24th of February. So you can exercise your right anytime within its expiry, that is anytime before 24th of February. On the other hand, what is an A option? European option, which can be exercised only on the date of expiry. So an European option can be exercised only on the date of expiry. Okay. Any question?
Sir, what is prevalent in Indian market?
Options on stocks are American, options on indices are European. Okay. So if you go to the option, so let me show you option chain. So you click on option chain. So choose a particular expiry, say 24th of February. Strike price, no need. See. Can you see the change? The strike prices or exercise prices, which I have told you, at which you enter into the contract, is determined by the exchanges. So if you see, in case of US dollar, one is 25 paisa more than the previous one. So you see, these are the different strike prices. So 69.25, 69.50, 69.75 to you have till now 79.50. Okay, so these are the different strike prices, and they will keep on increasing or decreasing that depending upon the market direction. So suppose you buy a call option at a strike price of 74.25, and what is the current market price? I just shown you Current market price is 74.83. Current market price is 74.83. So you have entered into a contract, suppose 74.75. You have entered into a contract, you buy a call option at 74.75. So current market price is 74.83. So you have the right to buy at 74.75 and market price is 75.83. So you make a profit. So there is a positive cash flow. So this is in the money. So all these sections are in the money. But if you buy a call option at 75 and the current market price is 74.83, so it is out of the money. So this is out of the money. So that is why there is a change in color. So this is in the money for call, out of the money for put. On this side, it is put. This is in the money for call option, out of the money for call option. This side it is just opposite. This is put option. So you see at the top it is written. These are all calls. These are all puts. Strike prices are same. So if you buy a call option at 74.75, if you buy a put option at 74.75, that means you have the right to sell at 74.75, whereas the market price is more, 74.83. So you will not exercise your rights. So it is out of the money for put option. Similarly, this is in the money for put option, say 75.25. So if you exercise your right, you have the right to sell at 75.25, whereas the market price is 74.83. So you make a profit. So this is in the money for put option. Any question? So at this strike price, if you see, so here also these are all premiums. Premiums are determined by the market. You have to pay the premium. So the price at which you are entering into the contract, that is given by the market. So strike prices are given by the market. So the premium, so these are all market determined. Buy, sell, buy, sell. So if you want to buy, you have to pay at this strike price. If you want to buy, you have to pay 4.03. Now you can sell the call option also. Okay. So somebody is buying means you are selling. You sell. This is the, if you sell a call option, this is the price which you are getting, premium you are getting. Okay. Again, these are prices given by the market maker. Question, confusion? Anybody?
Sir, in the call option, is there any specific amount to be paid in absolute terms, or is it in percentage terms, that particular premium we have to pay to the seller?
This premium.
Sir, I'm talking about call option.
Yeah, this side is call option. Left hand side is call option. Yeah. So this is the strike price and these are the premiums. At this strike price, for 85 contracts, somebody has given you an option. Somebody has quoted 0.4625. If you want to buy, or this somebody wanted to sell 220. If somebody is ready to buy 221 contracts at this premium. So what is your question?
How much money the buyer need to pay to that person?
So 85 contracts per dollar 0.4625 paisa. 0.465 rupee. So into 85 into each contract, I think is $1,000 or whatever it is. Got my point? Or maybe $10,000. So that will be the amount. That is the amount of premium. Okay. Make sense?
Yes, sir.
So more or less the basics of options we have covered. Let me see anything is left. Options, currency option. Options can be traded in exchange as well as it can be, all forward contracts are OTC. All future contracts are exchange traded. Option can be exchange traded. Option can be also. What do you call? OTC also. Expiration date I have told you, premium I have told you, exercise price I have told you, call put I have told you, in the money, out of the money, at the money I have told you, Okay, how to use that I have not done. We'll be doing that. Aja, let me also tell you something called, this is so. So let me just directly go to that. There is something called non-deliverable forward. Non-deliverable forward. Okay. So you can see that the word is forward. It's a forward contract, but it is not delivered. Forward contract, I told you, forward contract are delivered, future contract are not settled in cash. So let me just say, non-deliverable forward is an illegal market in India, but it is a legal market in countries like Hong Kong. But in Hong Kong currencies are not traded in or in Singapore, in Dubai. It is the currencies where there is restrictions, they are traded, like Indian rupee, Chinese yuan, South Korean won, all these currencies are traded. Philippines peso, where there is a restriction, like Indian rupee, there are restrictions on trading. Suppose you buy 1 month NDF, non-deliverable forward, at a price, it is settled in dollar, at a price of, you buy $1,000, you buy USD 1,000 in 1 month NDF at a price of $1 equal to ₹74. Okay. After 1 month,
unknown caller.
हेलो, कहाँ से? हाँ हाँ, बोलिए. Sorry. So after 1 month, suppose the price of USD is $1 equal to ₹75. Okay. So how much you gain? Yes or no? You gain.
Yes, sir.
How much? 1,000 rupees.
1,000 rupees.
So you will be paid dollar, how much dollar? 1000 rupees will be paid in dollar. 1000 divided by current market price is 75. So equal to dollar 1000 by 75. 1000 divided by 75. So 13.33. Make sense? So non-deliverable forward is a contract which is settled in dollar. Like if it is suppose you buy US dollar 1000 in 1 month forward market. So in that case, what will you do? After 1 month, you will deliver 74,000 rupees. In return, you will get 1,000 rupees, irrespective of the price. The price is 75. If it is a future contract, what happens? It is settled in cash. So after 1 month, what will happen? You will just get 1,000 rupees. Why 1,000? There is a profit of 1,000. You will get 1,000 rupees. But in this case, in a non-deliverable forward, it is settled in dollar, US dollar. So how much you will get? Your profit is 1,000, but you will not get 1,000 in rupees. You will get it in dollar. So 1,000 rupees after 1 month is how much dollar? After 1 month, dollar is 75. So 1,000 divided by 75, $13.33. Is this clear? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
So any question, confusion? Any question, confusion? See, I have already uploaded the file till today. As I have told you, your midterm will be up to what we have done till now. Any question?
No, sir.
No, sir.
No, sir.
I have uploaded the updated file. So definitely Shravani will announce the date, midterm date. So I think before that we have a class. I don't know, but all the best for the exams. Okay. So in between, if you have by any chance, if you have any question in between, you can always mail me and all. Okay. Okay, then bye. All the best. Take care.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.